Moon Knight Season 1 Finale. Mark comes back from the dead after being shot. The evil Amit appeared. Mark's powerful third personality showed up. Laila becomes the avatar of Taweret. The plot follows the previous episode. The high priest, with a group of people, found the stone statue of Amit in an ancient Egyptian tomb. The surrounding devotees saw this and knelt.
Who wants to heal the world?
Laila waited for the high priest to leave, and she immediately ran to find Mark and saw Mark's cold body. She was sad in her heart and vowed to avenge Mark. On the other hand, the high priest encountered the army on her way to the pyramids. But the high priest was not panicked at all. Only a moment later, all the soldiers fell to the ground. Finally, only this officer was alive and bewitched by the magic of the high priest and became the high priest's follower. Unexpectedly, Laila was also hiding in the group. She took out her dagger and was about to attack. Suddenly the soldier on the ground spoke, and it turned out to be Taweret who had possessed the man's body. She told Laila that she had to break the stone statue which sealed Khonshu to revive Mark and offered Laila to become her avatar. But Laila refused, saying that she could fight too. The high priest then found the pyramid of the gods, and he used his wand to flick it, and a crack opened in the middle of the pyramid. The gods in the pyramid also felt the danger, and all rushed to stop the high priest from releasing Amit. The rest of the gods were no match for the high priest and were beaten soon by him. Immediately afterward, his men handed the stone statue to the high priest. He instantly shattered it to the ground. Amit, the evil devourer of the undead, was thus resurrected. After the high priest unsealed Amit, in return, Amit made the high priest his avatar and gave him more powerful magical powers. On the other hand, Laila finally found the stone statue of Khonshu, and she immediately crushed it. The moon god Khonshu was unsealed. Khonshu could not feel Mark's breath when he had just come out. He said he could not fight Amit and the high priest alone, so he wanted Laila to become his avatar. But Laila was angry with Khonshu because of Mark's death and said she could only cooperate but would not be Khonshu's avatar. Khonshu stressed that he must have an avatar if he wanted to seal Amit, but Laila refused mercilessly. Khonshu had to fight alone to Amit. Without the aid of avatar, Khonshu is no match for the evil Amit. After a few rounds, Khonshu is almost dead from Amit. Meanwhile, in the wheat field, Mark was finally able to come back to life. He felt peace here like never before. With the memory of Stephen's sacrifice, he misses his old friend. Mark chose to return to the underworld despite Taweret's resistance. He came to Stephen's side. Mark told everything about his childhood, claiming that Stephen was his savior and made him less lonely. At this point, Mark's body started freezing. He placed the heart in Stephen's hand. Suddenly the gate of Osiris slowly opened, and the heart in his hands emitted a golden glow. The two bodies gradually recovered, and the barrier between them has since dissipated. Now they must pass through the gate before them to return to reality immediately. Unexpectedly, the sandstorm behind them came, looking like it was about to drown the two. In the moment of crisis, Taweret again helped them. Mark woke up from the pool when they finally passed the gate. Khonshu felt his breath and the bullets in Mark's body recede. He slowly got up his suit as Moon Knight finally woke up. After awakening, Mark found Khonshu discussing the measures to seal Amit, and Stephen suddenly appeared. He starts to negotiate with Khonshu on the condition that Khonshu will return their freedom if they help Khonshu seal Amit. Surprisingly, Khonshu agreed this time. To find the high priest sooner, Khonshu directly manipulated the sky. The full moon descended, and Mark flew straight up. In the House of Gods, Laila saves Osiris. He tells Laila how to seal Amit with maximum power by using Avatar in the House of Gods. But it needs a lot of Avatar. He collapses to the ground just as he speaks. The desperate Laila called out to Taweret. and the high priest heard her. Before leaving, the high priest destroyed the surrounding buildings. Unexpectedly, a mighty goddess warrior appeared. On the other side, the high priest distributed his power to his followers at the top of the pyramid. Followers begin to put passersby on trial, and if the scales turn red, their souls will be absorbed by Amit. Amit gradually became more assertive. Mark arrived at the battlefield. A battle between the god and the human began. Khonshu also appeared in front of Amit to stop Amit's further actions. Khonshu, with the aid of Avatar, finally regained some strength and knocked Amit to the ground. But things don't seem to be going well on Mark's side. They landed directly from the air. The high priest who got up first was ready to kill Mark. Laila arrived in time and kicked the high priest off. Mark was stunned to see Layla's appearance. Even Steven popped up. He hurriedly tried to show off his new skills. Steven and Laila worked very well together and kept attacking. The high priest unleashed the scepter's power when he was about to be defeated. The high priest tried to kill Laila first, but Steven pushed him away in time. After a few rounds, Steven is still a little weaker, so Mark reappears. Laila immediately takes control of the high priest's scepter. Mark goes up and punches and kicks. When the high priest saw that he would be defeated, he set his eyes on the people next to him and released a shockwave that overturned the car. With the power of Taweret, Laila flew over to hold the vehicle to save the people. A little girl just saw this scene. Without Laila, Mark soon fell into a passive position. With the powerful Amit's strength, Mark could not stand up to it. Laila tried to come to her aid but was tied up by the moon darts. The high priest is ready to do his trump card, raising his scepter to absorb Mark's powers. With Khonshu having no match for Amit and Laila getting shot, Mark switched personalities again in a flash.
That wasn't you, was it, Steven? Not a chance, mate.
He looked around with a puzzled face. Although Mark did not know what happened, the priority was to seal Amit in the House of Gods. They took the dying high priest to the House of Gods and began the ritual of sealing Amit with the stone statue of the House of Gods. Amit's body was gradually crushed. Mark and Laila kept chanting the sealing incantation. Finally all Amit's breath gathered into the high priest. The evil Amit was sealed in the high priest's body. At that moment, Khonshu suddenly appeared and ordered Mark to kill the high priest to eliminate the problem. Mark did not follow Khonshu's orders. Because according to the previous agreement, Mark's mission is now complete, and it is time to regain his freedom.
As you wish.
The scene shifts to Mark waking up in Steven's room. After calling Steven, he gets his memories. He wants to get up and walk around but gets pulled off the rope and falls. At the end of the story, the high priest is picked by a stranger in the mental hospital. He looks at the dead guards and has a vague feeling that he will die. He was thrown straight into the car. The man kicked the wheelchair away. Unexpectedly, Khonshu is inside the vehicle. But at this time, the high priest is very arrogant because Khonshu is not allowed to harm mortals. But Khonshu did not think so.
Meet my friend, Jake Lockley.
Hoy te toca perder. Wait.